Well, you might recognize his name, but his art is totally his own. After the pandemic, Henry Ellard Jr. left New York and his career in fashion to create an art space just for kids here in his hometown. So I'm here now with Henry Ellard Jr. You might recognize him maybe as the son of the legendary Henry Ellard from Fresno State, former NFL player. But you're the junior, and you're from here, but you spent some time away in New York and St. Louis. We were talking about, you know, your history in fashion design and sort of art and that whole world, but now you're back in Fresno. So tell everybody where we are and what you're doing back in Fresno.
We're downtown here at the beautiful Peerless building. And inside of the Peerless building is my amazing kids art studio. So
I love that you were talking about, you know, your personality and you're an artist, a designer, but you're sort of introverted, a little bit, you know, like me. People might not realize that, but you like to kind of be alone with your art and express yourself that way. So to get to the studio, you have to know you. And you have to, you know, you have to find your way here. So what happens in this studio? How do people get access to it? How do you make the art that's on display here?
Well, first of all, to get access, you would have to either go to the website or know me personally or a friend of the family, and they'll, you know, get to me somehow or some way, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just a safe space, you know, mainly for kids that don't have access to resources, you know, the underprivileged, you know, and I just want to provide a space for them to come and just be free thinking. You know it's hard out there, and all I ask is whatever you got going on in your life that's hard, that you may not understand, when you come walking into this door, leave it all outside or express it on that canvas.
I think, you know, art, we underestimate how powerful it is to express yourself and to have some sort of cathartic outlet. And so if you don't have those resources, if that's not a top priority because, you know, your family or your school or your community is worried about other things like shelter and food and a safe place to sleep, that is going to fall really low on your priority list. So it's important to have a space like this where people make that a priority for you. How do you get connected with kids? What programs are bringing you kids here?
Right now, I'm partnered with the Chaffee Zoo and Live Again Fresno. They had the zoo reached out to me and brought us together, so they would come down here, and I call it artistic expression, and we would do classes on Tuesdays. And now I'm working on getting into Fresno Unified, which will hopefully be starting this spring. But I've been working with families privately as well. So if you got, you know, just either a single child or 5 or 6 siblings, and you know you're going through some things and trying to figure out an outlet, just go to the website or you know, reach out to you guys and find me. I can definitely help out.
So, you know, I mentioned that you were in the world of high fashion in New York. It's a very different world than Fresno. And so you came back to Fresno and you started this art space, and you were sort of questioning, you know, did I do the right thing? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And so you mentioned a moment where you said to yourself, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm obsessed with fashion. I've been making clothes since the 7th grade. And the pandemic happened and whatnot, and I was here working remote, and I was still trying to figure out, okay, should I go back to New York? Is it time to come back? I was raised on each one, teach one. So I'm like, is it time to now make that move and give back to the community? But in the back of my mind, like go to Fashion Week's coming up. So our first class with Live Again Fresno, we had a piece, which is right here. I believe she's 13, her name is Ellard, and she got up to the front of the class. We were doing mood painting. I had them paint the mood they were in, and so she came to the front of the class and she was like, let me walk over here, sorry. This is the happiness inside me, even though when I go home, I'm surrounded by anger and darkness. And at that moment, I knew I was in the right place at the right time. And it was time to just, okay, you did your thing. Now it's time to come back and give back in the right way.
It's sometimes you don't know what you're feeling until you get it out on a piece of paper or you get it out in some sort of artistic way. So for you, after hearing that come from a kid, I think it's pretty powerful. What's your vision for this art space? What do you hope it turns into?
I'm just providing opportunities. I don't want to force anything on any of the kids. You know, I didn't think art was cool growing up. You know, you got made fun of. Even though I can draw, I can sketch clothes all day long, but I just kind of hid that. My family knew, but my friends didn't really know that. You know, so I just want to provide my own perspective on it where I can connect in a different way, you know what I'm saying, and dress the part and make it fun for them as well and show them, look, this is not boring, it's more than that, you know what I'm saying? So aside from this, I'm looking for warehouse spaces downtown to where we can fully work in and gain more kids, maybe 50 to 100 kids in one spot, and then use this space for just exhibitions. You know what I mean? So that would be the main focus as of right now.
Well, I like the way that you're going, and you mentioned, you know, I think if you see somebody, we always talk about representation, and it's so important, but it's also important in personalities. If I had somebody when I was growing up who dressed the way I wanted to and looked the way that I wanted to look, and you know, wasn't worried about being made fun of for wearing the jeans that nobody wears, I would have felt very, very safe. So I'm excited about what you're doing and what you're bringing in the community. You mentioned a website. If we want to get in touch with you, what's the website?
It's BaptisteWorld.com. Baptiste is the name that I made for myself working in the fashion industry in New York. Believe it or not, I was going on interviews, and in the fashion industry, when they would see my name, they would be like the football player, and I'm like, there's no way that you guys know who my dad is. He retired in '98, like there's no way. So I just got tired of it and wanted to create my own lane.
Yeah.
And me and my homegirl were brainstorming, and I came up with Baptiste. So it's kind of like my alter ego.
Your alter ego.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
that's what this is.
Well, I love it. I love what you're doing. We'll have all the information about this space, and we'll keep tabs on you to see what you're doing. Thank you so much for inviting us out here. We appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate you guys.
Coming up here, if the weather is giving your kids cabin fever, let them expel some energy at Kids Park, where you can drop off the kiddos for a few hours of kid-free time next.